So gang, today we have Vance reacting to Kamala Harris's first sit-down interview with CNN. Her first interview since running for president, her first interview since being a Democratic nominee, officially now. I don't know really what to think about this interview, guys. I feel like it's just all fake to me, personally, in my opinion. But to me, I just feel like it's all fake. And either way this goes, I really just hope that Kamala Harris does not become president. I'm sorry. That would be really scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. Either way it goes, it's gonna be scary because both sides are gonna be pissed either way, whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be scary either way. But enough of me yapping. Let's get into this.
All right, we got some news today because Kamala Harris finally gives her first official interview as the Democratic nominee, promising a new way forward. Watch.
One of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen.
Look at her, bro. She literally looks like she is reading something. Like, watch.
Interview as the Democratic nominee, like, promising a new way forward. Watch.
One of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at
definitely reading something, in my opinion.
Aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward. Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard.
Everything she's saying is just lies, bro. It's just lies. If she wins, it's going to be the same thing we have now. It's maybe like 5 times as worse, honestly, probably even 10 times.
But Harris struggled to lay out her day one agenda, having difficulty explaining her flip-flopping on policies.
The thing I hate, bro, is how big of a hypocrite she is. Like, the border, bro, like, when someone else says that it's a problem, it's a racist thing. But when she says it, it's okay. Like, I don't know, like, it is just crazy to me, like, how the tax on tips, you know, just all the child care tax, all this stuff is just like, it's just all stuff that the other opponent has already proposed, and she just makes it sound a little bit better. She's been in office for 3.5 years, bro, and if you really think it's gonna get better if she leads it, then y'all are tripping, because she's probably already been leading. Joe Biden has been doing his thing, just kicking off on the side, and, you know, all other people have just been leading it.
I think
in my opinion,
the most important and most significant aspect
no way Joe Biden's been running the country
my
like
policy
that.
Perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed.
Okay, this as Harris faces criticism.
Bro, when it comes down to the border, she's literally been in charge of the border for 3.5 years, and they can sit here and they lie and tell you that the border's been closed and the border's a tight security net thing. No, it's not, bro. Millions of people have come in here illegally, and that was their plan the whole time. They let people just come in here, and then they sit here and say 50% of border crossings have dropped ever since Donald Trump has left office and all this stuff. Like, it's just bullshit, bro. Like, they know that they're losing people's they know they're losing the middle, like, moderates and stuff, the ones that are not gonna vote blue no matter who. They know they're losing those people, and now they're coming up with common sense to be like, oh yeah, but the border is a problem. But then they blame Donald Trump for killing a border bill when he hasn't even been in office or in politics since the day he left the office. Like, he's not a politician. He's not running in some sort of office in Congress or something, you know what I'm saying? He's not holding some sort of office, so I guess he does have influence, but at the end of the day, it's just like, you guys could have solved the border at the beginning, you know, but you guys opened it, and then when people started realizing, like, dog, this shit is horrible, then you guys are like, oh, well, Trump said. Come on, bro. Like, seriously.
For having Governor Walz by her side during the interview. Politico is reporting, quote, A senior campaign official also made the important stipulation that obviously she will do solo interviews in the future as well. Somebody who does interviews every day, does extemporaneous speaking, and saw him yesterday, is Vice Presidential candidate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. J.D., good morning.
This dude does interviews by himself and everything, bro. And Kamala Harris will never do one of these. She never will. Even Trump has done it, and she will never do it, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So last night we watched the 27-minute interview that CNN did. Dana Bash did ask a lot of the questions we wanted answers to. And one of the most important things was, how do you, Vice President Harris, explain the flip-flops? But as we just heard in that soundbite, she's not flip-flopping because she has the same values.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre, right? So if you have the same values, why have you changed your mind on literally every topic that you previously held an opinion on? But I think it's important for us not to buy this. If you look at the way that Kamala...
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's like what I was saying earlier. Is she is stealing the opposition's ideas. Like, she's bringing up child tax. She's bringing no tax on tips. The border. Like, the border? Really? Like, I don't... It's just crazy.
Harris is governed. She's actually governed as a far left person. She's just trying to pretend that she's not far left now because, of course, she wants to win the American people's votes over the next couple of months. But if she does, she's going to do the same thing that she's been doing for the last few years. She's going to try to make it harder to get American energy from American territory. She's going to make it harder for us to drive down the cost of everything from food to housing. She's going to make it harder for us to enforce our border laws. And she's going to make more chaos and more instability around the world.
I'm sorry for pausing it, bro, but like, Kamala Harris isn't for fracking. Now, the lower the energy cost, the lower of transportation, the lower of things going up, around the world, the cheaper it makes it for people. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? Not that simple, but you get the concept. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have lower energy costs to transport everyday items, okay? Like food, stuff like that, clothes. Bro, shit will start dropping in price as well. Because people are like, oh, I could transport it now cheaper. That way I could charge cheaper for my stuff. That's how, kind of the basics.
So it's really absurd for Kamala Harris to sit there and say, well, I don't actually believe in any of the thing that I told you I believed 3 years ago. She has governed as a person who believes those things, and unfortunately, the American people are far off because of it.
So, Senator, she flipped on the EV mandates through the Green New Deal, the border wall, decriminalizing the border cross, Medicare for all, which she was the co-sponsor. I mean, that's a major flip. The mandatory gun buyback. Fracking, apparently she supports it now, and offshore drilling.
Supposedly now she supports it. Because, like, people are probably like, dude, I don't know. It's just crazy. She talks about she was going to make everything cheaper for people, right? This and that. I'm sorry, but when Trump was in office, gas was $1.90, $2. $2.20, the most I ever seen it, honestly. Which is crazy deal, and that's because we were drilling in the U.S. Okay, so with that becomes cheaper energy, and cheaper energy costs again bring low transportation costs, and that's how food and stuff gets around for cheaper, and people can charge cheaper. You know what I'm saying? But if you ban it again, so that's why she wants to flip on it. Because that's the only.
I know it's only been 2 years into politics for you, Senator, but politicians, they change their position. But the problem I have with Kamala Harris, and it's much like when you graciously invited me into your home, I want to know why she changed her position. You told me why you changed your position on Donald Trump. Why aren't we hearing why she changed?
Well, in part because she refuses to give interviews, right? So this is her first interview in 40 days. And, of course, she's flanked by her VP colleague there. but she's not a person who actually knows, I think, why she believes the things that she says that she believes. You're exactly right. She did impose an EV mandate, which is going to ship a lot of American manufacturing jobs to China. She has supported the defund the police movement, which has made a lot of our cities much more violent and a lot of our neighborhoods much less safe. She has done all of these things as she's been in government. And again, now she's trying to run away from it. And I agree with you guys. She should have to sit and answer tough questions about why she's changed her mind. I think she answered one question yesterday about how she changed her mind. It was a bit of a word salad, and I don't think it actually gave Americans any insight into who Kamala Harris really is. The final point that I just make about how she was trying to explain or change perspectives is, if you actually watched what she was saying, the way that she was saying it, it's clear that she doesn't have very strong convictions. I actually, even though I'm running against her, I felt a little bad for her because it was clear that she wasn't totally sure-footed, and she didn't totally know why she was saying the things that she was saying. She's been coached to pretend to be a moderate. Unfortunately, guys, she's governed as a San Francisco liberal, and because of it, Americans are poorer, the world is more chaotic, and our border is wide open. We've got to take this country in a new direction, which is why we've got to elect Donald Trump.
Well, let's talk about Pennsylvania, because that is a very important state, and fracking, which matters a lot to the people in Pennsylvania. Here's Kamala Harris on fracking.
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking. I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking.
Webull, investing and trading.
Senator, and here she is back in 2019.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
So, Senator, how do you be...
There's no question I'm in favor. Yeah, people's political ideas can change, but if she for real has changed, good for her, but I just don't believe it, and neither do millions of people.
Simultaneously for the Green New Deal and now for fracking.
Well, you can't. Those are just totally inconsistent positions.
Exactly.
And I actually think that Kamala Harris may have told an explicit lie on top of what she's already said here. So think about this. Kamala Harris says that she changed her mind in 2020 on the debate stage. Her last debate was in 2019 because she dropped out of the race before it really got to voting. So she's saying that she changed her mind on fracking during her general election debate. That's not true. She definitely did not do that. So I think that Kamala Harris got away with a very dishonest sort of, revision of her record there. But then let's go back just to how this affects the lives of American families and American workers. Fracking is one of the main ways that we have to drive down the cost of energy. And if you think groceries are expensive now, what happens when we increase the cost of energy even further, making it hard to get the food to the grocery store? If you think the cost of housing is bad now, what happens when we increase the cost of producing the materials that go into the houses, which is what a ban on fracking would do? She is pursuing a policy, guys, that is going to make Americans poorer in their own country. And it's so fascinating. The media is so desperate to let her get away with this that they don't even push her on the fact that she's changed her mind, allegedly, on 8 different topics. And the final thing is, the proof is in the pudding. Kamala Harris can say that she's changed her mind on American energy, or changed her mind on police, or changed her mind on immigration. She is the sitting vice president of the United States. If she's changed her mind, why doesn't she enact these policies now and make Americans better off? I don't think she believes it, which is why you're not seeing it in what she's doing.
And Dana Bash kind of asked about that. Yeah, you've been vice president for 3.5 years. last night. We know what she's doing with these new positions, Senator. She is racing to the middle because when, there's one, you're way out there on the fringe when you're in the primary, and then you race to the middle in the general, and that's what she's doing. But she sets it, and obviously she's fishing around for Republican votes as well because she was asked. And
there's a thing called the dumb vote. And that's just literally what it sounds like. It's the dumb people that are voting, that are just voting based off feelings and not policies or any of that. These things that Kamala is talking about are more moderate. She's not a moderate. She is a liberal, a 100% liberal. She has always been a liberal. That's why the border is open right now. That's why the policies are the way they are right now. Okay? Yes, Joe Biden too. Let's not forget that. But now, if Kamala wins, she'll even get to do more than she's been because she'll be the president. And she has Tampon Tim with her. Yeah, I said it, Tampon Tim. Tim Walz, the dude that's running with her, the vice president nominee from the Democratic side, he put tampons in boys' bathrooms from 4th grade to 8th or something, or 9th. I don't know, something like that. But why do 4th graders need tampons that are boys? Why do boys even need tampons? If a boy is bleeding from where they're not supposed to be bleeding, that is a problem. They should go see a doctor. It's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy. She has probably somebody that might even be a little bit more liberal than her, but I don't think so. They're probably on the same boat, and they're running together. So just imagine how it's gonna be later down the road when it's 3 years from now and Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have been in power or in office for what? Be 2.5 years? Crazy. You know how different it's gonna be? You know how much more homes are gonna cost? You know how much more of these policies that drive prices through the roofs are gonna be created because people, on paper it sounds good, but it never works, bro. I'm telling y'all.
She said that she would appoint a Republican to her cabinet. And we've seen that in the past. GWB did it. Barack Obama did it. Would a Trump-Vance administration, would you guys appoint a Democrat to your cabinet?
Oh, of course we would, Stephen. We've actually got a lot of great Democratic support. We just got RFK, of course, Tulsi Gabbard, who endorsed the president in just the last couple of days. If you look at the Trump movement in 2024, it's actually the common sense Big Tent movement in American politics. We don't agree on everything, of course. Not everybody who votes for Donald Trump is going to agree with every policy issue, but we agree on the basics. We agree that American energy prices should be lower. We agree that we should be making more of our own stuff in the United States of America. We agree that we should close down the border and stop the flow of illegal drugs and
it's just bro, you don't gotta agree with everything that Donald Trump, his policies are. But it comes down to the basics and where you want this country to go and how you want it to be. And it's just the basics, bro. And I love people that use their brain when they vote.
Into our country, it's just the basic common sense stuff. And it's telling, that Kamala Harris wants to say that she's the Big Tent candidate. She wants to say that she stands for a totally different platform than what she ran on 3 years ago. But she's governed as a radical. She will govern further as a radical. And Donald Trump has the record of lower prices, higher wages, and peace across the world. The contrast is extraordinary. We just have to remind the American people that the proof is in the pudding. And Donald Trump did a good job. Kamala Harris did a bad one.
Well, Senator, we've been following what's been happening at the border, and now it's here at home. Chicago's, the Venezuelan gangs and the United States gangs are going back and forth. You got Colorado now, where we have apparently some illegal migrants that have taken over an apartment complex. We had the councilwoman on from that area. This is what she said. Watch, Senator.
I currently know of 4 others. That's just in Aurora. I do believe that there are some in Denver. Denver police officers are starting.
This shit is crazy to me. If you don't know what they're talking about some Venezuelan gangs that are taking over an apartment complex in Aurora. They literally had machine guns, bro. Semi-automatic rifles. Walking in there, knocking on doors, telling people get the fuck out and all this. Literally how they would probably do it in Venezuela. Crazy. Just crazy. And I can, like, I'm not trying to be an asshole or nothing, but I bet you those fools are all probably fucking illegals, bro, that have come here, you know, because of Kamala's border policy and Joe Biden, just the Biden-Harris administration. You know what I'm saying? Like, their policies on border and all that, they're just horrible. Like, dude, people literally come here to get caught. Before, you don't want to get caught. Now you get caught and you want to, because then you'll get shipped to any city you want to go to, and they'll give you money, they'll give you a phone. Yes, you know. And now in California, they're even trying to give illegals like $100,000 down payment or something to buy a home, which is crazy. If that is true, I saw it earlier, and I was just like, are you serious? Like, I don't know, bro. It's just crazy to me. It just don't even make. This is like all loony, bro. It's like the loony fucking bin out here, bro.
We need to be arresting these guys for the smallest crimes that they're committing, putting them in jail.
Look at this shit. That's
figuring
what I was
out
talking about.
Who they are. We don't even know who they are. They came across the border, were probably lightly vetted, probably have criminal backgrounds in Venezuela, because we don't share background information in Venezuela. Bro. We really need to start putting boots on the ground and arresting these guys for shooting up cars, all the assaults that they're committing.
So, Senator, one of the problems is the local cops can't do anything. They can't talk to ICE. So these people can't be deported because it's a sanctuary state. What does a Trump-Vance administration do differently?
Well, first of all, we end sanctuary cities and we end sanctuary states. If you've got illegal immigrants in your communities, they need to go home, and you need to cooperate with local and federal law enforcement to help get illegal immigrants out of our country. Guys, if we don't have a border, we do not have a real country. And all these problems that exist primarily in Central America, we're now seeing them in places like Aurora, Colorado, or Chicago, or Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because Kamala Harris has allowed us to import the business of the drug cartels into our own communities, and Americans are suffering because of it. We cannot overstate this. I was talking to national firefighters yesterday. Hundreds of millions of dollars in Chicago, in New York, and Pittsburgh, all across our community, are going to pay for the problems related to the border. You're housing illegal migrants. You're trying to deal with the drug overdoses that come from illegal migrants. We should be spending that money on more police, more firefighters, more municipal services. But these local governments are being totally destroyed because they're paying for Kamala Harris's open border.
But Senator, real quick,
so much better.
Real quickly,
we just need common sense leadership.
I know we only got a little bit at a time, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
The sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, if Trump-Vance administration is there, does that now become against federal law? Is there going to be a bill to say you cannot be a sanctuary state, you cannot be a sanctuary city?
Yeah, that's a good question, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs to be against federal law, and we need to be willing to use the purse strings of the federal government. If a local city is not willing to cooperate with deporting violent criminals, then we need to say, well, then maybe we're not going to give you as much money as we used to. We have got to end the practice of sanctuary cities. It's making our communities poorer and less safe.
Senator, yesterday, former President Trump announced that he wants to make IVF treatments free if he becomes a president. So you're talking here to a mom of 9 kids. So I obviously believe more babies are better.
9 kids.
But I actually was kind of a little bit taken aback because last week you were talking about, you know, making Americans healthy. We clearly have a fertility problem. Something is going on in our country because infertility is exploding. And there's something, whether it's in the food, in the environment, it could be cultural as well, that we're encouraging girls to start having, women to have babies a lot later. I've talked to a lot of pro-life friends of mine, and they're saying it's one thing to say I'm not going to ban IVF. It's an entirely other thing to say we're going to pay for it, or we're going to mandate insurance companies to pay for it. And a lot of them said that smacked to them like Obamacare mandating, you know, contraceptive mandates. So what's your response, particularly the pro-life community, which has been so supportive of this ticket and the advances that Donald Trump has clearly made in that area?
Yeah, well, first of all, you know I'm pro-life, and I want to save as many babies as possible. I think it's important for us to recognize that there are a lot of fertility problems, and we ought to be talking about the root causes. But President Trump has always been pro-fertility treatment to address some of the problems too that young women are facing. I mean, you know this, I know this. We've all had family and friends that have gone through infertility problems.
Kamala
it is a nightmare, and I think all President Trump is saying is that we want to make it as accessible as possible. Of course, we're going to respect religious liberties. We're not going to force anybody to do something that is against their conscience, but we also want to make this fertility stuff available to as many people as possible, because babies are good, and for a whole host of complicated reasons. We've got a lot of women and a lot of young families that are struggling with this. We, of course, want them to have happier, healthier lives, and we want American women to have as big a families as they would like to have, and unfortunately we know that's not happening right now.
What do you say, Senator, to those in the pro-life community, some now that are so angered that they're saying some of them may stay home? Why is that a bad idea?
Well, it's a bad idea, first of all, because all the president has said is he wants abortion to be made at a policy to be made at the state level, right? He wants California, Florida, Ohio to fight this stuff out and to have debates among their citizens rather than having a national one-size-fits-all approach. And I think the genius in President Trump's approach here is that he's actually giving the individual voting populations the room to figure this stuff out. You guys know, again, I am a pro-life person. We had a pro-life referendum in the state of Ohio. It didn't go the direction that I wanted it to go, and I think what I take away from that is that those of us in the pro-life community, we've got to do a better job of persuading our fellow citizens. But even if you disagree with something that Donald Trump has said, look, Kamala Harris wants to force Christian hospitals to perform abortions. She wants taxpayer-funded abortion up until the moment of birth. The Democrats are utterly radical on this, and if you, like me, want to save as many babies as possible, Donald Trump is really the only candidate in the race.
Well, we know you're running for vice president. He's running for president. You guys are very busy. Senator, thank you very much for spending about 20 minutes with us today.
Well, there you have it, man. I feel like J.D. Vance, personally, to me, I feel like is a strong candidate for vice president. He holds it down. He knows how to speak. He knows how to give out an interview. He's coherent. You know, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I just really hope whatever happens, nothing insane happens after. You know what I'm saying? Even if Kamala wins, which would just be insane. I just really hope nothing crazy happens after. But yeah, man, shout out to y'all if you stayed all the way to the end of the video. I know this is kind of a longer video, so shout out to you if you were all the way to the end. Shout out to you for watching in general, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, gang.